scripts that they teach you, and they make you make phone calls, and with time in PC, Tammy used to make me make phone calls. It was just, it expedited the speed of learning how to do real estate, because again, you take real estate online and you just pass the test. Keller Williams and Ignite and Keller Williams Bold will actually teach you how to do real estate. And real estate is all about the relationship you have with people. And that's what Bold will teach you. The Bold that we have coming up is Bold 2.0. My first Bold was Bold 1.0, which is Diana Kokoska, diaries, and scripts and role playing and stuff like that. And it was a great class. I'm so glad I took it. I've taken 3 Bolds already, and I'm going to take Bold next month. You know, at 40 transactions, I feel like I can just get better at this and be more efficient with it. Do I want to get to 50 transactions? It'd be really cool if I did, but as long as I get to my 40, you know, I'm still not overwhelmed by it. And Bold will teach you how to do that and not be overwhelmed by it, because it's just paperwork. But then you have to lead generate, and then you have to go on appointments, and write contracts, and negotiate deals. There's a lot of moving pieces to real estate, you know, and if you get overwhelmed by it, everything will just fall apart. Bold will teach you, Bold 2.0 teaches you how to time block. And that's one of the things that we talk about a lot in real estate is time blocking to make every part of real estate work, but also to be able to fund that perfect life, to go out and hang out with your kids, or go out on a boat, or go on vacation, do whatever you want to do. You know, Brad always makes fun of me because I always seem to be on vacation. But I'm always on vacation because that was the design of what I'm doing. I like working for myself. I like being a sole agent. I like going on vacation. You know, I like hanging out with my kids. You know, yesterday afternoon at 3:30, when most parents are working at 9 to 5, I was watching my daughter play tennis. In my calendar book, I just X off Emma Dow tennis. On Friday afternoon, I have a tennis match and a volleyball match. So if you think I'm working Friday afternoon, I'm not. And I tell my clients, if they say, Rick, can I go look at a house on Friday? I'm sorry, I'm booked right now, but I can either do Thursday or I can do Saturday morning. You know, that's the beauty of doing real estate, is you don't have to work for the man. And that's, you know, one of the things when I worked at Oprah's, you know, I worked for the man. I did not. It was great because I was really good at being a middleman, so I got to do other people's jobs, which was really fun. And I would imagine in the restaurant business that happens a lot. That if you're good at what you do, you get to do other people's jobs as well. Make the same amount of money though. You know, with real estate, I determine how much money I'm going to make this year. And again, if I don't do my lead generation, I don't make any money. If I do lead generation, I can make a lot of money. I can make a lot of families happy too. So, yeah, so she's going to go print that up. So one of the things that we're talking about today, I'm supposed to follow this thing. I'm not really good at following this. Were you guys supposed to do homework for today? Is there talk of homework? What was the homework for today? Phone calls, okay.
And then following up with writing notes.
Okay. I really wish this wasn't recording. I don't write notes. Don't tell anybody. I'm not a good note writer person. One of the things that I'm really good at, though, is being in contact with my database. And that's one of the things that we're talking about today. So, how many people have an iPhone? Go to your iPhone and under contacts, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Because it's going to tell you how many people you have on your phone. Yes, how many people do you have?
I'm
Still scrolling? That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
973.
973. Okay.
But some like the dog shampooer guy.
So, Nancy, tell me a quick story. The dog shampooer guy. Is he a renter or does he own a home? So why would you eliminate him?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Jordan, how many people?
I have 390.
390. Okay. We're going to work on that. We'll make that big.
Yeah, mine's pretty small too. I have 402.
402?
But I took some out. I was going through my contacts Monday. When was that? Like Monday. What did you do? Tuesday?
It was Monday.
Monday night. And I was deleting some of my that's not a good contact. So
Why would they not good contacts?
Well, just like people that I don't ever talk to, like don't have a relationship with. So
How do they end up in your phone if you don't have a relationship?
I don't know. It's like it's almost like from Facebook. Does your Facebook like?
You share with your kids, because I'm just looking at
It's the
mine,
cloud,
and I
man.
have
The
a
cloud
lot-
misses
I
you
have
all
a
up.
lot
That
of
might
my
that
kids'
cloud something.
Alright. Karen, how many people?
433.
Okay.
443. But it's businesses, like I'll take a note on something like, I have a lot of notes, like embroidery designers and where you go to get crystals that are China. I used to have a manufacturing business
Okay.
a long time ago, so a lot of it's businesses, not. And
And those businesses have people that work there, right?
In Los Angeles, yes.
Just so you're aware, Keller Williams is worldwide. They have Keller Williams in Los Angeles. We'll talk about that.
I got 78.
78, that's the struggle. We're going to work on you too. I have 1,314 people. 1,314 people on my phone. A lot of these are probably real estate agents too. Like, I have Karen Bow on my phone. I have Dottie Bow on my phone. I'm not going to help them with real estate. I also have people from Remax on my phone. I have people from Global Banker on my phone. I have people from William Revis on my phone. I leave them in my phone for multiple reasons. First of all, because if I have transactions with these people or one of them calls me, I know I should probably answer. If Paul Clark III calls me, who's been doing real estate forever where I live, I'm going to pick up the phone if he calls me because he's calling for something. It also gives me the opportunity, if it's another real estate agent, that maybe I can recruit them to Keller Williams. Part of my plan for this year, so I had set a goal of this year of having 40 families helped and having 10 people in my downline. And I don't know, a lot of you know what your downline is. It's when you recruit somebody to Keller Williams makes a profit, you get profit share. You'll hear people talk about profit share all the time. I've been here for 4 years. I have 5 people in my downline right now. So every month I get a check because somebody somewhere did some sort of real estate and I get a percentage of the profit that individual made for our market center or whatever market center I think. So that's why, I count my 1,314 people all part of my database because not only is it people who I maybe went to college with who I don't like or rando people who I delivered note to. I mean, I still have Melville Street Market in here, I have Pollock Shop in here, because these are people. I still stay in touch with those people. I still go to Joe's Smoke Shop once a month to go get a sandwich. Oh, hey, how's it going? Any real estate I should be aware of? I keep everybody in my phone. There's only one person I've deleted out of my contact. I had a transaction with them. We did not get along. After the transaction, I literally deleted them because if they called me, I would.
Or another client.
A client. I represented a seller of a property, and he was such a not nice person. I decided, you know what? I don't need that in my life. That'd be one.
Referral. There's always a referral.
If he's referring to somebody, I refer to Karen because he's such a.
Thanks.
Only not because I knew you could handle it, Karen. That's why. I have faith in you. One of the things that we talk about a lot in real estate is the database and the people that we already know, like, love, want to help us. We want to help them. So, in scripts and role playing, you start to learn to have that conversation with somebody, and it'll be real awkward. Be like, hey Nancy, it's Rick Dow from Keller Williams. I'm doing real estate now. Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell real estate? Oh, silence. No. Okay. Script and role playing will allow you to have that conversation with the people that you already know and say, hey Nancy, it's Rick Dow from Keller Williams. How are you today? How's life?
Oh, you want me to roll play?
Yeah, I do.
Great, how are you?
Great, Nancy. I'm doing really well. Hey, I'm in a class right now, and we're working on see if we can be the first person to get to 10 families helped. So my call today is a business call, Nancy. Do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate that I could be in touch with?
Let me think about it.
Okay, great. I really appreciate you taking the time. And if ever you're here anyway, thinking about it, definitely let me know. We all know 5 to 7 people who are going to buy or sell a house this year. So if you hear or see somebody talking about real estate, just love to work with friends of friends. So if you would just let me know, I can definitely help them out.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you, Nancy. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Okay, perfect.
That was really good.
You know why? Because
It sounds so scripted.
after 4 years of doing scripts and role playing and going to Bold and having real estate conversations and helping 90, almost 100 families, you learn to talk like that. And the key is talking to the people that already know you, like you, love you, want your business. In PC coaching, they're going to talk a lot about door knocking and circle prospecting, and my PC coach made me do that, and I hated every minute of it. It's
Yeah, I don't want to go to strangers.
you don't want to talk to strangers.
I
So
agree.
the conversion rate on talking to strangers is 2 out of every 100. 2 possible transactions out of every 100 conversations. If you talk to the people you know, it's what, Karen? 1 out of 12, right? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I think it's like 1 out of 12.
I know, yeah.
2 out of 14 out of the people that already know you.
And you're not miserable.
And you're not online. That's the thing, is you go knock on some rando door, first of all, you don't know who's going to open the door, or what they're going to be wearing under their bathrobe. We're going to talk about that today as well. You just don't know. But if I know, if I call Karen, because Karen's my good friend, Karen's going to see Rick Dow and be like, well, first of all, Karen's going to see Rick Dow calling her on a Tuesday afternoon and be like, who died? But I'm going to call Karen and say, hey, Karen, it's Rick Dow calling. Hey, Karen, I don't know if you knew this. In your neighborhood, a house just came up for sale. Did you know that person?
No.
No?
Wait, was it on,
123 Main Street.
yeah. Oh, yes, I do know that person.
Yeah.
We have kids that live together.
Awesome. Karen, the reason why I'm calling today is because a lot of times people like to pick their neighbors. So I understand that house there still. Do you know somebody who wants to move into your neighborhood? Because it's such a great neighborhood over there in Deering Center, North Deering, actually. Do you know anyone from work, school, or church that would be interested in moving in your neighborhood?
You know what? Let me give that a little thought. Yeah, actually, I do know someone, and it's my cousin's friend.
Mhm.
I'd be happy to put you in touch with them.
Karen, I would really appreciate that because again, I want to help you by you picking your own neighbor. So if you want to give me that information, I'll call them right now.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Perfect. That's the conversation. In having that conversation, I'm coming from, I'm not saying, Karen, tell me who wants to buy or sell real estate because I need a real estate transaction for the close of 2019. Karen, I want to help you by picking your neighbor. So I know where Karen lives, so I know that if a house pops up in that neighborhood, I can help.
But isn't it like, I'm trying to think, is it redlining? No, what's the word for like, steering, helping them pick their neighbors.
Not even.
Can we actually say that?
Why would I
Yeah.
not want to help Karen pick her neighbor? As long as their money's green and they can
Well-
afford a mortgage, they should have the opportunity to see that house.
I guess what you can't say is like, I want to help you pick your white neighbor, or I want to help you
Yeah,
pick
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick your
Yeah,
Catholic
yeah.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Syrian, yeah.
I can't say
Yeah.
that. What I can say is, Karen, I want to help you pick your neighbor. I don't care who her neighbor is. I don't care religion,
age-based,
creed.
right.
Yeah.
Children.
I just want to know who she knows who wants to move to her neighborhood. I don't
Okay.
care who it is.
Okay.
And again, Karen just helped me because I'm helping her. Because she just gave me a name. Again, I can't say who are your white friends, who are your black friends that you want in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just who do you want in your neighborhood? Do you know somebody in particular who might want to live in this neighborhood? So you can definitely do that, and I do that all the time. The other thing that I did early to be successful is I worked with a lot of buyers. So my business, again, solo agent, my business is very buyer heavy. The start of my career, the first 3 years, I want to say I was like 85% buyers, 15% sellers. It was actually by design. Because when somebody buys a home, they stay in a home for 5 to 7, 8 to 10 years, somewhere in that point. As long as I stay in touch with that person, someday they're going to call me and say, Rick, I need to sell my house and I need an upgrade or I need to downsize. So that one buyer that I focused on in the beginning part of my business will eventually turn into at least 3 transactions potentially. So the other reason I focused on buyers to start was first-time buyers don't know anything about buying real estate. Neither did I. I had no idea. So I was able to help them. And if I didn't know an answer, I could say, you know what, I don't know about that, let me get back to you on that. You know, if they had a question about something, I could say, you know what, let me get back to that. I never would say, I don't know, because then you sound like you don't know. I'd be like, you know, Nancy, that's an excellent question. Let me get back to you on that. I'm gonna talk to my supervisor, the person who I answer to. Then I'd go call Tammy real quick. Tammy, what do I do about this? Then I'd call Nancy, you know what we're gonna do about this? We're gonna put an addendum that we want the sewer scope, yada yada yada. So buyers are great right now. And the other thing is in your database, hopefully you know a whole bunch of renters. Because that will make a huge difference. And it will definitely help your business. Is trying to figure out who the people who are renting are and calling those people to start. Because you can say, you know, I know you're renting your apartment now. You know, do you mind me asking, what are you paying rent? You pay $1,400. What if I could show you how to get into a house for the same amount of money, maybe even a little less, and in 30 years, that's what I was thinking. Never cease to amaze. You know, helping people with their rent. You know, if I could show you, instead of paying $1,400 in rent, paying somebody else's mortgage, what if I could show you how to own a home to pay $1,400? You might not live in downtown Portland for $1,400 a month in a mortgage, but if I could show you a house in Westbrook or, you know, north of Yarmouth, because it's not a whole lot, you know, Westbrook, Window, Goshen, help you that way. You know, and people want to be helped. And that's part of the conversations when you're calling people is, you know, not only looking for referrals, but you want to offer help and support. So a lot of my phone calls would be, you know, have you had your furnace serviced lately? No? I have a heating tech guy who I highly recommend who has done amazing work for some of my clients. I'd like to pass his name to you or her name to you so that they can help you furnace. Service? Furnace. Same thing with like a landscaper or like a handyman. So a good friend of mine, the reason I was actually a little bit late getting here this morning was I have a friend of mine who just started his own like handyman company. Small odd job projects. Like I have certain skill sets. I have real estate skills, I have dad skills, I have milkman skills. That's pretty much it. I have no handyman skills at all. My wife wanted a privacy fence attached to the deck of her house. Yeah, good luck with me. So I called my buddy and he was like, oh, you know what? He's like, I'm doing small odd job projects now. So he is installing a privacy fence on my house. And they're like, oh, hey, while you're here, I hung sliders, like barn door sliders that are like falling off the wall because it's too heavy and I just didn't do it right. He's doing that today. Today. He's doing that today. And then he's also going to knock out part of the wall to make my closet bigger. And his work has been amazing. I told him, I was like, Ryan, I need you to create some cards so I can start handing them out like candy. Because everybody and their cousin is looking for somebody like you. So when I call people this fall for Bowl 2.0, my conversation is going to be about Ryan Gurney. And I'm going to be like, Karen, do you need any small projects done in your house this winter? Because I have this guy who has done amazing work at my house, and I really want to help you, and I want to help him with your small projects if there's something that you can't handle. By the way, Karen, while I have you on the phone, I also need help. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate? If it's Karen, she's going to say, you know what, it's me, I need real estate. Or if she knows her cousin wants to move to her neighborhood, she's going to say, you know what, my cousin's friend needs to move. So again, it's that two-way street. First, I'm offering her service and help by saying, here's a guy who can do small projects for you. By the way, I also need help. I need some referrals because I'm in this great class and I have set high, lofty goals for my family. We're helping each other, you know, and that's a phone call that I'll be making when Bolt 2.0 comes up. Back to the whole Bolt thing. It's all about phone calls and touching your database, and that's why I love going to Bolt. I think it's such a great. Again, the upfront cost is kind of steep. If for some reason you can't talk to the market center, either Heather or Lisa or even Brad Knowles, there are scholarships available. There'll be people who will also just kind of pay for it for people to be able to take it, because it's a really valuable course. So this is what I was looking for.
Do you have to take the whole 1.0 first?
No, you do not. No, 1.0 is now just gone. So I took Bold 2.0 labs in the spring, and it was awesome. It's a 1 day, full day.
Oh, it's 1 day?
It's 1 day. I think it's going to be on Tuesdays.
Yeah, Tuesdays. I think one day it flips over to another day, but
Yeah.
But other than that, it's Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's every Tuesday. It starts at like 8:30 and goes to like 3.
But it's not here, right?
It's not here. It's at the not Key Bank, Saco
Bangor Stevens, I thought.
people. Bangor.
I wrote it down. I think that's Bangor.
It is off-site. It's $800. It's all day. Like I said before, I took Bull right when I got started. I had no idea what anyone was talking about. But at the end of it, I think that phone's. So before the end of 2015, I had one deal done, and it was my mentor, Lori Bisson. She had a listing in Bath and said, somebody called on our listing. We don't do a dual disclosure. I'll explain that later. Go show them our property and just keep them as a buyer client. Like, we're just going to give it to you. I'm like, all right, great. So I go to the house and I have all the paperwork. I have no idea what any of it is. I'm all dressed up. I'm, so pumped up. I'm like, oh man, I'm a real estate agent. So kick ass. People show up. It was a younger couple, first-time home buyers. We got talking and showed around the house, and I'm pointing out this, pointing out that. HGTV, like, would be really super proud of me. And they leave, and I'm like, if this is the house, great. Call me later, and if not, no worries, we'll go find something else. Now that I know what you're kind of looking for, we can definitely help you. So they leave, and I'm like, oh man, real estate agent, finally. So cool. Then I see him walking back to the house. I'm like, shit, what did I do wrong? Oh man, it's like, what did I do? They walk in, they're like, actually, we just want to write an offer on this house right now. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. Okay, I think I have the paperwork with me. And I'm like, I'm filling out part of it, and part of it because, again, I only did that one time in real estate class. I'm like, you know what, just go ahead and initial this. I'm going to fill it out later. So I had no idea what I was doing. And so they did. They just signed blank pages that I hadn't filled out yet. And I'm like, oh man, real estate's awesome. So I call Lori Bisson, and I said, hey Lori, good news. I got an offer for you. And she's like, excuse me, what? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, they just wrote an offer. I was like, I gotta fix it though. I was like, because it is just not anything. I was like, but they signed everything. She's like, that doesn't ever happen. Don't ever do that again. She's like, okay, all right. So we got it all filled up, but first client, first showing under contract. That was actually the house they bought. Still in touch with them. They're actually on a search right now to look for their next house 4 years later. They're already starting the process of looking for their upgrade. Complete luck. I mean, I literally stepped in a pile of, you know what, and it was awesome though. It was like, oh man, finally a real estate agent. And since then, again, a lot of my first time buyers are just that. They have no idea. So I didn't have any idea. So, but again, I carried a lot of what I learned and how to talk to these people from going to Bull. That was the whole point of my story. Is having those conversations. That first 2 or 3 transactions is super awkward. Had no idea. I actually kept a filled out purchase and sale from Lori Bisson on a transaction that she'd done that was closed, so it was okay for me to have a copy, and actually how to fill one out. Like, she highlighted the things that you have to do and put little notes for me and said, this is where you find this information and this is where you have them initial. And I had that in my desk for probably the first, I want to say at least 5 transactions of trying to fill out a purchase stuff, because it was one of those, shit, what do I put there? So having that guide is definitely a helpful tool to have, and it's okay to have that type of tool. Same thing, when you're starting to get into some business and you have to write an offer, you have to fill out a property disclosure, it's okay to ask. Ask Joe or ask Charlotte. That's why those people are there. To me, it was Lori Bisson, my mentor, or Tammy Richards, my PC coach. It was like those two were like always on speed dial. Of course, it was awkward the first time I had to deal with Lori Bisson and Rick Bisson, and something came up, and I'm like, well, I can't call them to figure out how to handle this situation because they're going to know who it is. So I did call Tammy on that one. But again, I don't know how you all got here into real estate. If there's somebody who already does real estate here at Keller Williams, is how you found this place. Call that person. I mean, if they're somebody who you feel comfortable with. The other thing is, call me. I'm on the ALC. I'm not a designated broker, but if you have ideas or are coming up against pitfalls that you're like, God, what do I do about this, that, or the other thing? Call me. Karen calls me all the time.
I called him, one time I got an offer and I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, I got 3 hours? Like, all
Yeah.
of it, to accept
respond.
it, or what do do I have to accept this offer, or is that all the time? I'm like, oh my goodness. And I called him Rick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that is a little odd, 3 hours.
Yeah, that's
3
all.
hours. You just call him right back, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it talked me off a cliff. I'm like, I'm like freaking out.
But that's the beauty of this Keller
Yeah.
Williams, is that we do want to help you. So again, if you don't have a mentor, or you can't get a hold of Joe, call Heather, me, somebody who has done some real estate is somebody you can call and brainstorm. Don't tell me that the offer is for X number of dollars, and I can't know that. But if like in Karen's situation, it was they gave me 3 hours to respond. What do I do? I'm like, you don't do anything. You can just say no. We're not going to accept this. And I think Karen did tell me it was less than asking.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me what the amount was, and the house was like 3 days on the market or something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
It's like,
And so I just kind of told her how I would negotiate in that situation. I didn't tell her what to do. I said, this is how I would handle it if it were me.
But that was for her client, right? You were getting an offer for your client. So in those 3 hours, you need to find your client, right?
it was my, right. It was
her
my
listing.
listing, and somebody sent me an offer, and they wanted an answer within 3 hours, and it was, and I wanted to have more time where first of all I could actually meet with my client, because I didn't know if they could meet in 3 hours. You know what I mean? And there was just. And then what they were asking for, and it wasn't like what we were looking for. So, what can I do in 3 hours? That was my ultimate. I'm like, can they extend it? What can we do? What are the options? All of a sudden I'm freaking out.
Right.
Before calling my client and looking like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's.
Then I pulled it all together, and I was like, all right, now I'm all set. We just extended it. We got time. Talk this out. And
So that's what you decided to do, was you asked for an extension on it, so you can talk to your client.
Yeah, that's one thing. You don't always have to I freaked out so many times. Well, I'm not freaking out as much anymore, because it's like now it's like you can always ask for anything. You can ask for more time. You can talk to the other agent and say, hey, listen, this might not work for me right now. Because they're interested in. That's the good thing is both sides are interested in closing a deal. So it's not like you're actually having to play hardball with somebody else. You're both trying to come to the one conclusion, which is to help both of your clients either sell the house and get into the house. So you can say, you know what, I think that if I had a little more time, I think it might help the
Right.
situation. And
But was
in that case.
Was that a tactic, you think, by the buyer, just to make you accept a lower offer?
Probably just so that, if I accepted it, then all of a sudden I'm not showing it to other people who are under contract, then I'm just accepting it at that, instead of having more people look at it and then accepting another contract.
Or having multiple offers.
Right.
as a buyer's agent, it was definitely tactic. I can say without a
Yeah.
doubt,
Oh, yeah.
because it was 3 days on market. When you go on showing time, you can see if the houses are even blocked out for other showings. And so he probably, it was he, right?
Yeah.
He probably saw there were a lot of showings. It was a Portland house priced right. He saw there was probably a lot of activity on it. He's like, well, I want an answer within 3 hours so we can just lock this up, get it off the market for my client. His learning opportunity was he didn't offer enough. Had I sent Karen an offer for that house, I would have said, Karen, we're going to pay you $2,500 more than your asking price, but we need an answer like in the next 3-4 hours because we just want to lock this up. And I would tell Karen, we want to lock this up. We don't want to lose this house, so we're actually going to go a little bit overpriced because we just want this done. You know, his mistake was he went under, and he
And
was
that's her.
significantly under, I think
Yeah.
you said, in the first 3 days. Like, no, you know, and again, it was definitely priced right. I think I know what Karen was saying.
So if something goes under contract, then legally does the listing agent need to label it as pending?
They have 5 business days to put it as pending on the MLS.
And then what if they don't?
The real estate commission will stop their hand. And if you do it multiple times, they'll actually fine you for it. I've had a number of times where people don't, or they'll put pending continue to show.
Yeah, they never did any of that, they just said active, and even I was trying to be a buyer at that point, and my agent at the time notified them that, hey, you need to change this to pending
Yeah.
continue to show, and they didn't. But they were doing it through entry only, which is
Oh,
like,
that's why. So it was for sale by owner in essence that you can put on the MLS. Probably had no idea how to do it, honestly. So there's, I think it's like Jason Sapphire,
Yeah.
who does entry only. The homeowner probably didn't tell him that was under contract because he would be the one to switch it to pending.
So he would be the fall guy if it wasn't switched properly.
No, the homeowner is the fall guy for not letting him know that it was under contract. When it has it closed? You own the home.
He
Okay.
got bumped out of the deal.
It pumped out. Talk to the real estate commission about that one.
It's not.
Yeah. So okay, that would be a good question for the designated broker. How long ago was this? You should talk to Kathy Manchester about that because that could. I don't know how. Did you have anything invested with it, like money financially?
We had put down earnest money.
But you got that.
We did get that back, but we also had other stuff that come out of the inspections that we paid for.
After your inspections, did you do like an ICA request for repairs or anything like that?
We tried to do an extension, but the seller refused to sign it, I think. And at that point, my realtor went out of town, it was Mercado. And then, so I started working with her partner, and she said this contract is not a good contract, and we need to get out of this, we can't save it next time.
Gotcha.
So we did get our earnest money back, but
Good.
we are not under contract.
Right. To me, if the real estate agent said it was a bad contract, the problem was a bad contract. The person would probably do their due diligence, and that happens a lot. I mean, I've seen a lot of real estate agents who go off the grid. It's like we're in the middle of negotiating, whether it be the purchase and sale, through the building inspection period, that you just can't get a hold of people. It's like this is like time-sensitive issues, and if they weren't responding, it was probably for the better. At least you didn't have an appraisal order that cost another $600. You know, we lost out on $400 because of a building inspection, but then got out of a contract. That's probably. I always tell my clients, $400 building inspection is worth its weight in gold because that's when you might find a $4,000 issue with a home. And I'd rather walk away from $400 than be stuck with a $4,000 problem. You know, that's, again, you know, there's two parts of negotiating when it comes to actual transactions. There's the negotiating the purchase and sale, and then 10 days later we were going to be negotiating building inspection, whether there's some sort of issue. So I'm actually going through one right now. I have a listing that we went under contract within 4 days. They just did their building inspection, and their ICA is about this long. It's like mother's punch list of everything. You know, like there's that one piece of peeling paint in that one corner, like stupid stuff like that. My guys, like, not, you know, we'll fix A, B, and C, but we're not fixing G through, you know, Z, like that type of thing. So we're in that part of negotiating. So there's always that part of negotiating as well. But yeah, there's, you know, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to real estate, particularly when you start getting into transactions. Before we get into transactions, though, we need to call people because we're working on our database today. So this sheet that I had Heather print out, this is called Doing the Database. This is one of the things that I used religiously when I got started, and right now, you know, when I do my lead generation, I still use this. And what it is it breaks down each quarter of the year. So I think on October 1st, we're in the fourth quarter of 2019. So this, and there's 13 weeks in a quarter, so it breaks it down by 13 weeks. And what you do is you call people with the last name of A or W. So starting next week, I would really like to see people use this, because this is going to help you make you successful. Basically, it's pretty self-explanatory how to do it. If you just start calling people, or the beauty of Bold 2.0 in lead generation is it doesn't actually have to be just a phone call. And one of the things, you know, I should say my generation, 41 actually, 41. I don't like making phone calls either. It really just, you know, I'm okay with having conversations with people, but I find if I call Karen in the middle of the day or Tuesday to do my lead generation, you know, and I've only called her, you know, 3 times this year. She knows I'm calling for real estate, and I don't really want to bother her at work, or if she's, you know, at the school volunteering, or with her kids at a soccer match. I'd rather just text her, or I might send her a private message on Facebook. Hey, does everybody here have Facebook? Facebook? Everyone have Facebook? You have Facebook? You're younger, so it's just curious.
Instagram, he's an Instagram.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't have an Instagram, and I intend to get one because my 16-year-old daughter, who in the next 10 years is going to end up buying a house, Facebook is for old people in her mind, right?
Yeah, completely.
So
There's a lot of old people on Instagram too.
right, right. Well, that's just it. And I'm not. I look at Instagram like, oh, that's for those young people.
I'm on it because I have 20-somethings.
Right.
So I get to see what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's reason.
Right. And it's one of those things. It's like I know I have to do it to be able to continue to lead generate, because a lot of my lead generation comes out of Facebook. Actually, I'm a huge Facebooker.
Rick, you would grow your business tremendously if you just started Instagram.
I know.
Just because I know that I have so many people that I contact through Facebook,
Mhm.
but I also have a lot of people through Instagram that are not on Facebook. So, and you being a social media guru and contacting people that way, if you started Instagram and was following people that way,
So
blow it out of the water.
thank you for sharing. So my opportunity for growth between now and Bold 2.0, I'm going to set up an Instagram. I don't know how to set it up, but I'm going to get one. I don't know how you get it, but I'm going to get it. Because, again, it's that opportunity to grow my business, is to have that. And I know I need it because I plan on doing real estate. You know, I'm 41. I plan on doing this for the next 20 years anyway. That's the next thing. You know, before it was Facebook, now it's going to be Instagram, and then it's Snapchat. Yeah, right?
I think that'd be
Is that?
yeah.
Snapchat's going away though, right?
Yeah.
People don't use it as much. I don't know.
Now, do you have your own Facebook page or a personal page?
So I have both. I have Rick Dow, and then thanks for Rick Dow, and then I have Team Dow Real Estate. Guess how many people are on my team? Although I sell my 16-year-old, she's my IT department. My 13-year-old is going to be my buyer agent in about 7 years. She's, college probably. When people ask me who's on my team, it's like, well, I work in an office of 500 like-minded individuals. So if there's a time where I'm on vacation, I know Karen will cover for me. Or if I have some sort of issue with paperwork, we have a compliance department at Keller Williams. Or if I need, help with showings, I know, my friend Rob can be at an appointment for me. So when I refer to myself as Team Dow, I think as Keller Williams is the team behind me. I have a designated broker where if I get myself into legal trouble, that's my phone call, and it's to her. So, again, Team Dow Real Estate. So I have both Team Dow Real Estate and then Rick Dow, just Rick Dow Facebook. And so, on my Team Dow page, I boost ads. Although, if anyone's here for the Facebook guy, Karen, were you here for that?
No.
He was here, and literally we're in class talking about ads on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, I should actually put my ad for an open house they had this past weekend. So I'm right in and I boost it for like $40 and it's going to go out to 3,000 people. As I hit boost and send, he's like, yeah, it's really not good value to boost those ads. Just give it organic. I'm like, I just wasted $40. So on that, my Team Dow Real Estate page, I just have ads for just real estate stuff. But then on my Rick Dow page, it's Rick Dow goes to a tennis match. Rick Dow's out on his boat. Rick Dow's hosting an open house this weekend. And, I mix it up a little bit. And one of the things, last year we had a gentleman from Texas, Kyle Draper, who does Facebook clinic. And then this year we had somebody else who's local who did Facebook and social media. And the whole point is not to saturate it with just real estate. You see a lot of real estate agents, as we start becoming friends on Facebook with real estate agents, all I do is post real estate. That's it. It's like, I don't want to look at just real. I want to know that Karen was at her kid's soccer game over the weekend. I want people to know that I went to a tennis match yesterday. But yet here I am looking at this beautiful oceanfront house on Saturday. Or, I don't think I posted today, but I posted, teaching class at Keller Williams today. Hashtag Team KW, that type of thing. I put that all the time. And it's that mix of my life and my work, and it's a good balance to have. And that way I don't want people to know I'm just a real estate agent, and I'm not just a slacker stay-at-home dad. I have a work-life balance. And, we were talking earlier about, the volleyball matches on Friday. I don't tell people I'm busy with my family. It's just I'm not available. Now I'm going to probably post a picture of volleyball on Friday, but I won't, tell my clients I'm there.
What do you do when clients want to befriend you personally on Facebook and then have access to all that?
I generally accept that.
So they would know.
They'll know, but I won't tell them straight out. I don't have time for you. I'm going to a lottery. I'm just going to say I'm not available. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm just not available. The other thing, and that was one of the hard things when I first got started, was saying no to people. I hate saying no to people. So I learned to say, I'm not available. I can either do Thursday or I can do Saturday. Give them options.
Yeah.
If they say they can't do those 2 times, all right, well, how about either Wednesday afternoon or Sunday morning? That type of thing. The other thing I've learned, probably, and it's still a work in progress, opportunity for growth, so that's what we like to say, is not working both Saturday and Sunday. I'm trying not to work both days of the weekend. It's either Saturday or Sunday. You always need to have at least 1 day of rest. Now, for you guys who are just getting started out, it doesn't apply to you. Work every single day. Because you have to. You have to start building your brand. And when I was doing Oakhurst and real estate, it was 7 days a week, up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be lucky if I was in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock at night because of whatever I was doing, whether I was watching videos or out on appointments, spending time with my wife for that 1 hour a day. always doing something real estate. And again, it was hard to start, at YouTube. It's hard, but once you get there and you can just focus on real estate, your life will just absolutely change. I mean, I think this year, after 4 years, I'll make double what I made in my last year of just doing Oakhurst. And I made a really good salary at Oakhurst. And this year I'm going to do 40 transactions, and I don't feel overwhelmed. I've been told I'm abnormal when it comes to that, like it's not normal, but it's not that hard. It's some paperwork and trying to learn command, which we're all learning to do right now. So for you guys who are really, really new, who don't know anything but command, kudos to you guys, because when I started, when Karen started, when Heather started, we had the e-edge system, and we used DocLoop and then DocuSign, and now it's all under one platform in command. I would talk about command for another hour or so, but that's not the point of this class, but command is going to make our lives so much easier. Getting your people into command is the challenge right now for you guys who are just starting out. Getting all your contacts in command is what's going to be huge.
I just emailed Stella and marketing yesterday, and like 2 hours later, all my contacts are in command. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with it, but they're all there.
Did you put it in the spreadsheet first? Or you already had one?
No, I did put it in the spreadsheet first, and then I was like, oh, why did I do that? I should have just put it right in command. I wasted all my time, and then boom, they're there.
Yeah.
So would you put them in, if you were going to do it again, would you just put them into command, or would you still do the
It was
spreadsheet?
the spreadsheet was fine.
Okay.
Was it easier than just putting it, do you put them into a spreadsheet in command? Does command have its own
I
spreadsheet?
used it in an Excel spreadsheet,
Oh, okay.
which is on,
Joe?
something that Joe set
Right,
up,
Joe set
right?
up,
yeah.
And then I did it that way, and I thought it was gonna take a couple of days, it was like a couple hours.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right on it, I texted them, and they're like, we need your passwords, I texted them, and I emailed them back, and boom, you're here.
Yeah.
The Christmas card list was, I sent them a Christmas card list. They're like, you can do that.
So in my command, I mean, I have 1,300 people on my phone. In my command, I think I have like 700 people with like email and cell phone numbers. So I'm continuing to grow my database in there. But again, the way I'm touching my database is a lot through my Facebook. So again, back to the whole Facebook thing. I use Facebook at a super duper high level, and I go by this sheet when I do. And what it is everyone with the last name A&W is who the people you should be calling next week. The other thing that I do a lot of, so basically you work your way through that list, and it kind of gives you the breakdown of the percentage of how many people should be there. Hopefully that's going to generate 20 plus people in a week that you should be calling.
In a week?
In a week.
So this is like a weekly thing?
It should be a day. As you're starting out, if you could get 20 calls in a week, that would be progress. When you take Bold 2.0, they want you to make 100 phone calls or 100 touches a week in Bold.
Touches, not calls. Touches.
Touches.
So that could be text or email or.
Two-way.
They have to respond back. So one of the things that we learned in command last week in class was the command is actually going to have a function where you can send out a group text. So on Monday morning, I'm going to click on all my A's and W's, and I'm going to send out a group text saying, hey, Rick Dow, just want to say good morning, hope you're having, happy fall, yada, yada, yada. I'm starting a class, and I'm going to be looking for referrals, so if you can think of somebody who needs help in real estate, whether buying or selling, please let me know. The guy who taught class said, what was it? In an email or a phone call, the percentage of people that will pick up or respond is like, what do you say, 20%, maybe 10%. The people who respond to a text is almost 50%. If I text Karen right now and say, Karen, who do you know, yada, 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 she's gonna probably respond back. If I respond to 2 of you, 1 of you would definitely get back to me. So to me, having 113 people in here, that's what, 650 people who are gonna respond back to me, probably. If I have 650 people respond back, and you divide that by 1 out of every 12 who are gonna do a real estate transaction, I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty good odds. So out of 650, that should give me 54 transactions just by using this.
The only problem that I can think of with that, if I'm equating it to like MailChimp and doing like generic, like when I worked for Home and Design, I would like blast and email blast, and it looked like it was coming from me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so general because you're not writing directly to those people. Then after a while they see that,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't want to.
But for
You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe this is
Right.
different with the text. I don't know. That's
Right.
just my experience from MailChimp.
So my plan before I do it, because I think in there it's gonna come from a different phone number. It won't come from my phone number. So I'm gonna have to put in there somewhere, you know, give me a call. You know, this is. I was talking with Drew about it, another real estate agent, because we were having that same conversation. That's gonna look not right. It's gonna come from a different number. So on there somehow you're gonna have to put, you know, if you want to have a conversation, call me on my cell number, and here's the number, something like
If
that.
they respond to that number,
Yeah.
it will show up in the notes in the database
Yeah.
for their file. I found that out.
That makes
David and I did an experiment. He responded and
And it's sure
Yeah.
where?
in the contact card in
Yeah.
command, it showed up in the notes.
Okay. So you just have to pay attention to those then.
Yeah.
Not your cell phone.
Yeah. It's better to tell them respond to this other number.
Yeah.
But you might want to check anytime you send something out, check people's notes.
Right. Yeah. Question.
So I help investors find properties in certain areas with some of the people I work with, and we've switched completely. We don't do phone calls anymore. We only do text, and we don't even tell people what we're doing for through text. We say, hey, is this blank? Make sure we have the right person. They're gonna say yes, because everyone will respond to, hey, is this so and so, from an unknown number. So they say, hey, is this David? Yes, this is David. How can I help you? And yeah, hey, this is Malachi. I work with an investment company. Okay, and yeah, so I'm wondering if you'd be willing to, if you're in the market to sell your home, we have investors looking in the area, is there any way I can help you out? Something like that. So they respond to already in conversation with you, and that's what we found has the highest, we almost
Those
always
you
get
have to rescind when you
response.
couldn't do that in mass.
No,
where you're
right.
talking.
You have to sit down and take some hours.
Right.
Right.
But people really respond. I mean, I
Oh,
would
yeah.
think, I would think it was strange if someone was contacting me and saying, "Hey Nancy, hey, are you Nancy?" I think I would just ignore it.
We get a lot of
But a lot of
response.
I get it,
times,
that it's
but a lot of
different.
times they think it's somebody that they already know that just has a new number.
That's what we get a lot of. Oh, is this? And then once they're already talking with you, you put a good you put it up front. Oh yeah, hey, this is my name. This is the company I'm working with. We work with investors. Okay, everyone will sell their house at any price, so everyone's interested. Oh, they have investors. Maybe we'd be willing to sell. And then we started a conversation, and it turns out, they're going under foreclosure. They need someone. They can have someone buy them out and wholesale the property. So that's worked really well for us. And it does take some time. That you can sit down for a full day, 500 people, something like that. So.
Right. So the other thing that, when it comes to that lead generation, they'll talk about the idea that you should be lead generating every day. And again, hopefully Heather doesn't hear this, but I don't lead generate every day. I kind of do a little bit of a different system that works for me. Is a lot of my lead generation I actually do on Monday and Tuesday. And what I do is I chunk down my Monday and Tuesday for literally a 4 to 5 hour block in the morning, where it's just straight lead generation, to set my appointments for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and certain other days on weekend, Saturday or Sunday. But that's how I do a lot of my lead generation. It's the start of my week. rather than doing, a little, 2 hours every day, just a big chunk of time on Monday and Tuesday. And for me, in the book, I don't think we have a $1 Million Real Estate Agent book. If you haven't read that, please pick it up. That's a really great book. And it talks about how to break down, like, whatever your goal is. So for me personally, my goal is 40 transactions, which means I need to go on average of 3 to 4 appointments a week of new buyers or sellers. So my goal is always to set 3 to 4 appointments for the week. So my Monday, Tuesday is when I do all my lead generation to set the rest of my week. So if I get to 3 appointments or 4 appointments, hands up in the air, I'm done lead generating. Because that's all I need to get to where I want to go. The other thing I do, again, back to Facebook, birthdays. Everyone has birthdays, right? So you can look on Facebook and see who has birthdays coming up this week. And if it's somebody who I really like, who I want to go actually spend a physical hour with and have a coffee, I'll say, hey, it's your birthday week. Let's go grab coffee. Or Starbucks, Bulldog, coffee, whatever. Are you free this week for a coffee? Love to get together and just chit-chat. And again, that's people who I have a really good relationship. Or it might be somebody who I don't have a great relationship, but I went to high school with them and I just want to catch up with them. But then what I'll do is I'll also go back and look at their Facebook and their kids' names, what's their dog's name, what do they do for work, that type of thing. That helps me get to those 3 to 4 appointments a week. I will say though, this past week, like this week we're in right now, I didn't do any lead generation this week because over the course of the weekend, I had 3 people just call me for real estate. So I didn't have to lead generate. Again, it doesn't typically work that way, but you'll get to a point where you won't have to spend hours and hours and hours on your database. Your database will start working for you. And that starts when people know what you do. So for the people who are literally just starting in real estate, does everybody know that you do real estate?
Well, I wondered about that when you mentioned Facebook. Like, I've been waiting to kind of like, ta-da, on Facebook, let people know that. Is that something I should be thinking about doing?
You should do that like
yesterday.
Like right now.
Yeah.
Set up a whole page and everything?
No, on your personal
Just on
page.
my personal
On your
page.
personal page. Hey, just
Excited
want to let you
to-
know I'm starting a new opportunity. I signed up with Keller Williams to help as many families as I can with real estate. So if you know somebody who's looking, my first post, I wouldn't even ask for a referral. My first post would just be like, hey, I'm starting this new opportunity at Keller Williams Real Estate as a real estate agent. I just got my real estate license. I'm super excited. I was at this great class today with Rick Dow. Yeah, people are gonna lose their, oh my God, you're in real estate. What a great opportunity. And you'll be amazed at how many people, if they don't know that you're in real estate, you're gonna be like, oh my God, real estate's so great. Or they're gonna be like, you know what? I was thinking about doing real estate. You know what? You should come talk to my friends at Keller Williams. And now you've already added somebody to your network. Start
Think about
today.
who you guys just went to, were just in classes, like who you had in class. Because 2 people in my downline were from my class.
Yeah.
Only because I knew about profit share when I was in school.
Right.
But you guys just left class, so you probably know other people that may be searching for an agency.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, 'cause I think you guys did it online, right?
Yeah.
And you went to Arthur Gary.
Yeah.
And you went to Arthur Gary. So if you became friends with people from Arthur Gary, that would be another good contact. To reach out to them and just be like, hey, I signed up for Keller Williams, and it's been a really nice experience so far. Or if you haven't had a nice experience, let us know. We'll make it a nice experience. So then you can go back to people and say, I've had a really nice experience with Keller Williams. Because I think, what Keller Williams offers is a lot different than what most brokerages offer. Again, I don't know from experience. I just know what I've heard from people who have come here from different brokerages. Obviously you didn't have the best experience with your first. Hopefully you have a much better experience here. But that's just another one of those database touches. And again, the more people know that you do real estate, the better. If you don't have a Facebook, you should get a Facebook. Or an Instagram.
What about LinkedIn?
I am also on LinkedIn.
That's good one too.
Yeah.
I'm on LinkedIn. I find I don't even know if I've ever gotten a referral from LinkedIn yet or a transaction from LinkedIn yet. I get a lot of recruiters from LinkedIn that say, oh, come work for my brokerage or come sell copiers or, I don't get a lot of real estate. I have it so people, when they find me, can go and look at my LinkedIn and see that I've worked down, I've done real estate for 4 years, helped hundreds of families, whatever. That's why I have LinkedIn, not that it generates business for me. But the Facebook one, definitely, I want to say, out of 100 transactions, I mean, I bet over 50 have been because of my Facebook alone, and just being in touch with those people. I would say out of all my transactions, 90% are one person, either I know or one person removes themselves. Like I said, I don't do a lot of cold calling. That being said, learn how to cold call. Because at some point, if the market does shift, and it feels like it could, and your well dries up of your referrals from your database, and you have to do a cold call or go door knocking, learn how to do it and do it at a high level. And what that looks like is, again, a house comes up for sale in Karen's neighborhood. There's a way to get people's phone numbers that live in that neighborhood. If I don't know Karen, if just some random house pops up, so I live in Topsom. So if a random house pops up in Topsom and I haven't been able to generate my 3 leads, I will actually go to a neighborhood and either call the people in that neighborhood or I'll go door knock the people in that neighborhood. And the whole script is, hey Jody, I don't know if you know, a house in your neighborhood on 123 Main Street just popped up for sale. Again, we find that people like to pick their neighbors. Do you have somebody from work, church, family member who wants to live here? No, great. Jody, the other thing that we find is that when a house hits the market, other houses in the same neighborhood also go on the market. So do you know anyone in this neighborhood who might be thinking about selling? Again, I'm not asking Jody if she wants to sell her house. I'm asking Jody, do you know somebody in this neighborhood who wants to sell her house? Because if it's her, she's going to just be like, shit, it's me. I want to sell my house. Or yeah, I do know somebody who is looking to sell. So it's okay to ask for that referral. And if not, Jody, again, I appreciate you taking the time to think about it. Just real quick, what is it that you love about this neighborhood? Because if somebody calls me, I want to be able to be an expert and say, this neighborhood is great because it's close to schools, quiet, there's no traffic, whatever. Deer run down the middle of the street in the middle of the night, whatever. And that way you're being engaged. The other thing I'm going to do is, again, I appreciate you taking all this time. I do a monthly email. It's not spam. It's once a month. It just talks about what's happening in Topsom, whether with our planning development or the new school that they're building. I would love to just put you on this mailer. Again, I'm not going to spam you. It's a once a month. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe from it. Would you mind sharing your email with me? Great. Fill this out. Again, now I've just added her to my database. Even though she's only going to get once a month touch on my email, but again, I might go knock on her door when that house goes under contract. And be like, hey, do you remember when we talked about that house last week? It's already under contract. I don't know how much it went for, but it's under contract. And listen, man, your neighborhood is just hot. Again, if you think of somebody looking to buy or sell, definitely let me know. Great. And then when that house closes, it will actually show you how much a house closes for. I'm going back to Jody and be like, hey Jody, that 123 Main Street just sold, it closed, and it actually sold for $10,000 more than asking, or it sold for asking, or you know what, the house, because it sat on the market for 60 days, it actually sold for $10,000. I just want to let you know. And again, that might be an email or a door knock. But again, if you told them you weren't going to spam them with emails, I would just go door knock. Or if somebody's not home, I would also print out something and I would circle and make a handwritten note. Again, I don't write no cards. I would make a handwritten note on MLS sheet and say, this sold for over asking in 2 days. If you have any questions, here's my contact information at the bottom. I've probably had 3 or 4 transactions because of doing that type of work. So 3 or 4 say it was 4 transactions. My average transaction is $6,500 per transaction, so that's $26,000 if I went to that. Not too bad.
Is that calling from your listing or just one that you know of?
Just one I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't matter if it's mine or Remax or Cola or
Right.
Willing Rivas. It doesn't matter to me who's listing it is.
You're looking for the buyer.
I'm looking for the buyer for that particular
Right.
house. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do sort of kind of focus on buyers. I know I'm not supposed to. but I do.
No, I mean.
I was wondering that too, say for instance, you set up a Facebook page.
Yeah.
You see a house that comes on the market, you can post that on your Facebook
Yeah.
page and say, hey, look, this great house, come see it.
Julie, where do you live again? Westbrook. So,
Did you set up as a squeeze page or no, you couldn't set up as a squeeze page?
this is squeeze page.
This might be from my old, so in my old company, you could show a listing,
Yeah.
but you had to have that realtor's permission, the brokerage. And then if they clicked on the link, it would bring them to your website showing that listing. So they could look at more photos than just.
Right. Have any thoughts on that?
I wasn't really paying attention on it.
So a squeeze page. So if I post Paul Clark's for sale, house for sale on my Facebook page.
Well, you have to get permission from Paul Clark's DB. And,
So you couldn't do it for any real estate.
however, all right, so that's on Facebook, but you can say something along the lines of, like door knocking or something. There's one house on the street for sale. That means maybe this group, then that means that statistics show that there's 2 or 3 other houses just ready to be sold. You can do that because you're not advertising their house. But if you're strictly by the books, if you are going to promote somebody else's listing, you have to get permission from their TV.
Okay. So let's say, Heather, hypothetically, say a senior agent after 4 years posted
You're asking
this
for a
person
friend, right?
shared, asking for a friend, this person shared a Keller Williams agent's Facebook post. She posted something, and I just shared it.
All right, it's a Keller Williams agent though.
It was a Keller Williams agent.
And does she know you're sharing it?
I would,
Do you have
we're
permission
friends.
to share it?
I don't have permission to share it. We're friends.
Well, if the share button is there,
Yeah.
it's they could not put that button there so you can't share it.
It's on her personal page.
Yep. It was on her Kathy Blant website page.
I'm sure she
I would just say, I would say that to be safe, just call her and say, hey, or email her or text her and say,
It's not me,
hey,
it's somebody else.
tell your friend
Yeah.
that just say, hey, can I share this?
Gotcha. Okay.
If they say yes, go for it. If they say no,
But
But
you don't
if
have
it's
to put the
somebody
DB.
if it's somebody from another agency though, that's a different story. You
Okay.
have to get permission from the DB.
Well, I keep throwing how about that. I have a friend that's selling like an investment property. She didn't call me up to sell it for her, but if I went and can I share that? Would it be the same thing? I would have to contact the real estate agent or like she posted on her she has some camps in Old Orchard she's selling.
Mm-hmm.
As her friend, I can share that, right? On my personal page, but if I had a Keller Williams.
Right.
And sell by owner?
It's getting into very gray areas,
Right.
and there aren't a lot of strict rules. Not strict rules, there aren't a lot of defined rules on that. I do know that the rule about promoting someone else's listing from another agency is that you have to get permission from the DB.
Okay.
That's in Tom's advertising for
Right.
every, and it's in his video, and
Yeah.
When you share something, just real quick, I was wondering, when you share something, any kind of real estate stuff, don't you have to put Keller Williams Realty and
well, if it's on your
Address,
page,
phone number.
then you've got it.
okay.
If it's on
Well, on your personal
on
page.
your business page.
Okay.
Um,
But if it's on your personal page, you have to, right?
digress there a little bit.
You know what, I'm gonna text Tom.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So like, when I post on my business page about like an open house that I do, I put a link to like realtor.com for my listing. And even there, like people will share it out as well. I'll have to think about that idea of sharing other people's posts. Because again,
So when you're on Facebook, you're sending people to realtor.com.
yes.
At my old agency, you were able to send them to your website with that listing that goes to the MLS. So in other words, you cannot.
No, you can. I'm not a huge fan of KW.com to look at real estate. It's like, no.
Is that the app?
No.
The app is great.
The app is great.
You should
I
have.
find that the KW.com site isn't as user-friendly as Realtor.com. I also find that a lot of people don't know KW.com exists. So, people always look at like Realtor or Zillow.
Do you ever worry about them being bombarded? I guess maybe your relationship is so strong that they would want to work with another realtor.
Right.
They go to realtor.com or they go to Zillow. It's like, talk to this agent, this agent,
Right.
this agent. And they'll show headshots and there's people there that are buying, looking and
Right.
spending thousands of dollars.
Right. No, I'm not too worried about it. It's people that I'm already friends with, like me, love me, want to do business with me. So I'm not concerned about that. I always use the Realtor.com site. I find that Zillow and Trulia and some of the other Redfin and the other one aren't as reliable. And so like people will, even my own clients, it drives me nuts. I send everybody the app, the KW app, to look at real estate, or if you're in an area and you drive by a house, you can put like nearby properties, and the house you just drove by should pop up. Send it to me, and I can get more research on it. And they'll send me something off of Zillow or Redfin. It's like, yeah, that house actually sold like 2 months ago. It just still shows it's active, so don't use that ever again. I always say either use that app or use Realtor at that point, because those are to me the two, or Flex MLS. I always point people to the MLS as well, Flex MLS, because that is also what we use, which is the most up to date for stuff like that. So another thing I do is even just having the conversation with people about real estate. I would love to set you up on just a search of properties. If you're thinking about Westbrook and Wyndham and Gorham, what I can do is set you up on a search so that you'll see everything that's currently available, and then every time something new hits, it will just automatically get emailed to you. And if you have questions or want me to change it, just let me know. So with Stockbridge, I don't know if everyone has access to the Flex MLS yet. You can actually see when they open an email for you. Like I get an email saying that Nancy opened her email at 8:35 this morning, which is actually a good thing, because about 8:45, 9 o'clock, I'm going to text Nancy and say, hey Nancy, just want to let you know I sent you a house this morning. If you get a chance, take a look at your email. She's going to text me back, oh my God, I already looked at my email. I saw that house. That's great. Or she's going to say, I looked at that house. It's a train wreck. I don't want to go see it. So that's another way of lead generating. So
What's it called?
it's the Flex MLS.
Yeah, but what are you setting them up on? Like
A save search. Save search.
And it automatically does emails then.
Yeah. So what I do is I would do a search that says, okay, you want to look at houses in Wyndham, Westbrook, and Gorham under $400,000. Has to have at least 3 bedrooms. Has to have a garage. I can put all that criteria in, and it will send her every house currently that matches that search. And then every time something new hits the market that meets that criteria, will also get emailed on a regular basis, depending on what house is in the market. So right now I have I think this morning I got 33 alerts that houses went to different clients. Some of them have already closed and they still get their search, they want their search. I would say right now I have probably 10, 12 people who will buy a house today if I can find them a house. So when they get that email, I can see it on my end that an email went out to them, and then I'll also get an email that they looked at that email. I'll go in early in the morning, so again, I'm an early riser. I get up early and say, okay, what is going to go out today to people? And I might say, hey Nancy, there's a house that just hit the market last night that's gonna hit your email this morning, make sure you check your email.
And is that better than using the app? Because I've seen a couple people, the Keller Williams app, can they do the same thing? Can you program it so that?
Yes, I would use the Flex MLS, because again, you know when they get a house sent to them.
So that's the
And
only
you-
difference. Is
Right,
that,
and you know if they
monitoring.
open that email.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little more, kind of a little bit more direct towards you.
Exactly,
Their agent.
exactly, so like,
Have you- How often do you have them, cause,
daily.
daily you have them?
I've
like,
said
to
every
your,
day.
to your buyers?
Yep.
That's what I was wondering if there was, what's too much and what isn't, you know what I mean? Just because I've only had one buyer so far. Well, I mean, I've got a list of people, like you're saying, like I've got
Right.
probably now 7, I think,
Yeah,
that I go through searches myself and
Yeah.
I send to them, and I don't know if I should be putting them on subscriptions.
put them on a subscription.
Alright.
And let go do it every day, because if you only have, on the
Yeah.
Flex, you can set it up where it's like Monday,
Yeah, that's what I
Wednesday,
mean.
Friday. You
Do I want
can
it
check
every
off whatever
day?
days you want them to get the email.
Yeah.
But if you say they're gonna get an email on Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
That's-
well, a house hits the market Friday afternoon, they're not gonna get it,
Right,
and
that's
it's gonna be
true.
gone by Monday
Right.
morning,
Mhm.
if it's a good one.
Do
So,
they then feel like they found their own house?
they will.
Do they feel like they found their own house? Like
No, because they think I got up in the morning and I sent it to them. I tell them it's automatic. And then people will text me. If I haven't texted them already, they'll text me like, hey, thank you for sending me that house. Let's go look at it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to check my email. They did send them a house. But again, I didn't send it to them. It just was automated. But again, if I see a house that I know is going to go to somebody, I'll shoot them a text and be like, hey, Karen, this house is going to hit your email this morning. Keep an eye on your email. Or here's the address. Go on the Flex now and take a look at it. Because it's one that should definitely pop up. Like something that we should go look at like today or tomorrow. Because again, all the good houses, as we know, are gone within,
And that's, I guess, where I'm wondering, Rick, like, is that the first step with people, or is it funding? Like, having them get pre-approved before you're even doing this with them?
that.
Yeah.
Funding. So somebody calls me. So I'm doing my lead generation. I'm making my phone calls like I'm supposed to. Again, I'm sorry. Erica. So Erica and I are having a conversation, and I'm like, Erica, have you been to a lender yet? No. Okay, perfect. Erica, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up with, I'm going to send you 3 names. You always send them multiple names, first of all. You don't ever just send one. That's scary that you can't do. I'm going to send you a couple names of individuals who I like to use for lender. If you don't already have somebody you want to use, Erica, what bank are you banking with right now? TD. Okay. I'm going to send you some names of people that I like. I would recommend talking to TD about it, but I'm going to send you the name of, insert 2 names. Let's have a conversation with them on what we can do for a mortgage for them. Hopefully she's going to go have that conversation. She's going to call me back and say, Rick, I got approved for a $300,000 house. I want to live in Gorham, Wyndham, or Westbrook. Great. So what I'm actually going to do for you, Erica, I'm going to set you up on a saved search through what's called the Flex MLS. And what it's going to do is it's going to send you everything that meets your criteria today that's available. And every time a new house hits the market, you're just automatically going to get an email. So I don't know if you check your email on a regular basis, but start. Because every day about 8:15 in the morning, you're going to see an email if something new has popped up. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to set your search, even though you're approved for 300, you want to stay under 275, which I highly recommend because you don't want to be home poor. And I have this conversation with people all the time. You might be approved for $300,000, but do you want a $300,000 mortgage? Because that means you might not be able to go for pizza night. The movies are off the table. You might skip on the cable. What does that payment look like at 300? We'd probably rather be at 250, 275. So I'm actually going to set your search at 275. Because what it will do is keep us within that price point. Now, if we don't see what we like in that price, then we can talk about going up. But if you're not comfortable with a $300,000 mortgage payment, which is $2,200 a month, again, I don't want you calling me in 6 months and saying I can't be here or it's too expensive. I'd rather have you live in your house forever and somebody else refer us. And people respect that a lot. Because they know that I'm looking out for their best interest, because I am looking for their best interest. I've had one person already call me to sell their house because they hated it. And it makes me feel like I didn't do my job as a real estate agent. And I knew that the house wasn't the right fit for her. Again, it's a long story. She bought a house in Waterboro. She sold a house in Hollis to buy a house in Waterboro. And I was like, why are you buying a house in Waterboro? She's like, oh, my boyfriend lives in Waterboro.
Great.
I'm like, don't buy a house with your boyfriend. She sold her house. She had to live with a friend for like 2 weeks before we closed on her new house. By the time we closed on her new house, she'd already broken up with her boyfriend.
Yeah. But do you say that to her? Do not buy a house.
I did tell her not. I was like, do not buy a house because your boyfriend lives in Waterboro. She's like, no, we're in love. So we go to the closing. She bought her house in Waterboro and called me 6 months later and said, I can't live in Waterboro. Because I run into him everywhere.
Well, let me help you sell that house and we'll look for
So
another
she
one.
sold that house, she rented for a year, and then she just bought a house, another condo this year. So I've helped this woman in 4 real estate transactions in 4 years. And it makes me feel like not a good feeling, to be honest with you, because that's cost her a lot of money. I mean, granted, she hasn't lost a lot of money, but she hasn't made any in 4 years of home ownership.
And that's a lot of moving and
A lot of moving and
yeah.
packing and disruption. And
Yeah.
But you tried to warn.
I tried to warn her, and she didn't listen.
Yeah, she would have gotten another real estate agent if you'd said, no, sorry, can't help.
Right.
Right.
She would have found something.
Is this something for you that she's come back to you?
Right, but again, I feel like I didn't do my job because I actually let her buy a house because her boyfriend was in the same town. So back to Flex. So when you set it up, you can set up that criteria. And again, if you say, okay, $300,000, I can actually work with a $300,000 budget. We're all in on this. I'd be like, okay, what I'm actually going to do, Eric, is I'm going to set your search up for 325, okay? Because anything that's in between that 3 to 325 range that's been on the market like 30 plus days, we might be able to actually negotiate that down to the price point that we're comfortable with. Now, Eric, if a house hits tomorrow at 325, I can tell you there's very little chance we're going to be able to negotiate that down. We can see, but I wouldn't feel real confident in my ability to negotiate a 325 house after 2 days on the market to 300, get to our price point. But I will set it up so we can just see what's there. Something might fall in the market. Something falls down to 305, and I said if 3, we're not going to see it. I said for 325, we'll see all those houses. So, and then when she starts getting emails, again, she sees the email for me and opens it. I can see it on my end that she opened it. And if I think, Jesus, that's a great house, I'll text her like, Erica, I just saw that house on 123 Main Street come up. What's your schedule like today or tomorrow? Because I don't feel that house is going to last. We need to get out there like ASAP. So like if you look at my calendar book, like Monday and Tuesday we're all booked up, literally from me doing lead gen and then just going out. And like right now, my Thursday, Friday are completely empty because I haven't emailed people yet today to go look at stuff tomorrow and Friday. So again, I try to keep my calendar pretty fluid that way. Because again, if I know something hits today, I have to go look at it tomorrow. Like something hit yesterday, and I'm going to look at it tonight with somebody. And again, you have to be kind of quick on your toes, and you have to explain that to your clients as well. Some clients are like, well, we really want to buy a house, but we can only look at stuff like Sunday afternoons, and that's it. Because our work schedule. It's like, well, most houses, when they hit the market that are any good, are going to be gone within that 48-hour window.
Is there a typical day when things hit the market? Is it Monday or
It's usually like Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday?
Because what it is, people list on the idea that it's going to generate all the activity for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the contract by Monday. That type of thing. So, like, I have 2 listings that are going to hit today, and it's by design. The other thing that a lot of agents do now, which I'm not a fan of, is they'll say no showings until the open house on Sunday, all offers reviewed Monday at insert time. Somebody might not be able to go to the open house on Sunday, in my opinion. So to me, that kind of limits the audience that's going to see my listing. So like the two that are gonna hit today are gonna be showing start Thursday, open house Sunday. That's it. I'm not gonna put a deadline for anything, because I don't wanna limit who can and who cannot see my listing. And again, I just need one person to love it. You know, people all about, I want multiple offers and over asking. It's like, I want one person to love it, that they make the right offer, and we can be on to our next project. You know, and sometimes people, the struggle right now is there's so many people that overvalue their house. That's the other thing. And you get real emotional because my house is way better than everybody else's house. Not really. They're all the same, basically. You know, unless you have some sort of like majestic chandelier of some sort, your house is just like every other house. So, trying to negotiate with a seller to make sure they price their house right. And like, I met with a couple. I met with them Monday evening, and it's a $400,000 house all day long. My house is really worth $450,000. Like, if you look at the comps I provided for you, that the exact same house that you live in, because it's house, you're really a $400,000 house. Now, if we can price it right at $400,000, we might get into $415,000, $420,000 because there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. But if we list it higher than that, we might not get as many eyes. We're kind of limiting our audience. Nope, it has to be at least $425,000. Like, I already gone down $25,000. And I said, okay, this is what we'll do. When we list your house, and they're not ready to be listed yet, when we list your house, we're going to do this. And this is going to be part of our seller agreement. I'll list your house for $425,000. But if we don't have an offer on this house within the first 2 weeks of us being on the market, you're going to agree to a price drop at $400,000, which is what I was just starting at. And they looked at me and they're like, okay, we'll agree to that.
So you put that in the contract?
So I'm going to put that in my seller agreement, exclusive seller agreement. I'm going to put in there, agrees to a price reduction of $400,000 after 14 days on market. I will put that in there. Again, it protects me, protects them, because when I say, you agree to this, remember we had this conversation. Now, if they don't want to do that, I can terminate the contract. And I've only terminated one contract that was with a buyer, and it was, they want to look at everything. But yet, their criteria was they had to have a 4-bedroom. But then it was like, hey, can we go look at this house? It's a 2-bedroom condo. Like, what? Oh, I just want to go look at it. I mean, it was a huge waste of time. I stayed with them for a long time just because I was new and I just wanted the business. But it got to a point where they were like wasting my time that I could have spent with somebody else. You know, and I've had one buyer who was similar like that, but I was okay with it because he was a like go look at stuff in the middle of the day person, where most people aren't available.
Yeah.
So to me, it was okay use of time for a couple of reasons. First, it allowed me to go look at real estate. Because again, I was new. It was like, and he always felt bad. He's like, oh, I feel so bad dragging you out here. I'm like, don't ever feel bad for me looking at real estate. And I always tell my clients that. They always apologize when we go look at like a nasty house. I'm so sorry, Greg. Don't ever feel sorry for me. I get to drive around and I get to look at real estate. Those are like 2 of my 3 favorite things. My third is my family. I mean, if I go home, I'm just going to have to do chores around the house. So I got to actually get up here looking at real estate. And so, you know, that's, you know, the opportunity to go look at houses. I think it's 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. That's kind of the way I look at going out and looking at houses and working with clients. It's, the more I do it, just the better it's going to make me as a real estate agent. You know, and after 4 years, I feel like I still have a lot of room to grow as a real estate agent. You know, for you guys who are all brand new, the opportunity here is you're always going to be able to learn new things. I mean, I've probably had maybe a dozen like real easy transactions out of 90 plus or 100. Maybe 15 have been like, just sign the paperwork, like that's it. There's always something that pops up, negotiating wise. Funny story, my mom sold her house this year, and the day before we were over there packing stuff up, and they didn't have a whole lot left at the end of the day. And I'm like, all right, just make sure everything's going to be out tomorrow morning because they're going to do a walkthrough. Oh yeah, everything will be out. Call the next morning. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh Jesus, we forgot to pack our closets. I mean, can we just grab it after the closing? And I'm like, you don't own that house after closing, so no, you cannot. And I literally went to her house, and she's like just taking like things out of the closet, throwing the back of her car, and she's like, oh shit. I'm like, what? She's like, I forgot to empty the fridge. Good thing she was my mom, I would have fired her. Stuff like that happens. I mean, don't think it doesn't happen. It happens to everybody. It happens to real estate agents' moms all the time. It's just different things you're going to deal with as a real estate agent. But again, it's fun. Like, no day is ever the same, which is what I love about doing this. I mean, when I worked on my belt truck, Monday, Wednesday, Friday was always the same. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, always the same day. With this, there's not a same day. The problem with this is, if I don't feel like doing real estate, I don't make any money. You know, you have to be very highly motivated to do this. Again, but if you're sitting in here, hopefully you're motivated. You know, and you know, we started by talking about like our big why and why we do this. And to me, it's, you know, I like the freedom and flexibility of this, but yet the amount of money I can make and the number of families I can help is endless. Like I can help as many people. You know, the goal this year was 40. I'm gonna get to 40. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Next year, I'll probably actually bump it up to 50. But again, that means I need to do a better job because 40 is going to be tight. I need to do a better job of time blocking and using my database at a higher level. And that's one of the things that a lot of agents struggle with. You know, I don't want to call this person. I don't want to call that business. Those people need to buy homes too. You know, we don't want to limit ourselves. Yeah, I know I said I limit one person. Like I was a jerk. But it's just those type of phone calls and having the conversation with people who already know you like you. Like I said, it's 2 out of 100 on a cold call. It's 1 out of 12 on a warm touch, somebody who already knows you. So start using those warm touches that you already have on your phones, you have on your Facebook, you have on your Instagram. Those are the people who are going to want to help you. Again, if you come from contribution, they're going to want to help you as well. So, yes.
I just got an Ignite update
Yes.
that has you using command and things in command.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm gonna print session 2's homework.
Okay. So have you guys been able to get into command yet? No, the
I've been in.
You've been in?
I did get into command. I came to the command beginners class
Yeah.
yesterday and realized it was over my head. So
Gotcha.
Heather was teaching it, and I'm like, I'm not even ready for command basics yet. I need
Yeah.
to go home and play on command first. So.
You can't break it, first off, which is nice. Start using it on a regular basis, you know, and then there's the Command 66-Day Challenge on YouTube. Look it up, watch the videos. They're all like...
Watch the videos from Scott Lloyd, 66 Day Challenges, too many old.
Oh, okay. No, it's updated.
Yeah, it's nice.
If you know
It's evolving so fast that you have to make sure that it's something within the last month that was recorded.
Right, okay. So find those videos, because command is how you're going to basically run your business. It's going to do a ton of stuff for you. It's going to help you with, it's how you submit all your paperwork. When you get into transactions and you do paperwork, it's going to help you with your database. You'll be able to set up emails for people on a regular basis. It's going to talk. You can set up tasks for you to do. So like, I'm in the process of setting up all my calls as my tasks for the day on Monday and Tuesday. It will also help you with advertising, and whether you put out email blasts to people, or you can actually advertise on Facebook through your command, and it will actually capture leads for you. So I posted 2 on that. Neither one captured a lead for me, but a friend of mine did it. She's down in Atlanta. She posted something on Facebook. She paid like $25 and she captured like 4 leads. So her average sale price is like $7,000. So if she converts 3 out of the 4, she made $21,000 because she invested $25 in advertising. When I first started in real estate, to help me generate leads, I did advertise on Zillow and Realtor. I didn't get a ton from that at all. And again, those were cold leads that didn't, I think out of all of that, maybe 2 or 3 came from that. Where if I just called the people that know me, like me, love me, want to business with me, it doesn't cost me much. You know, so I was trying to keep my expenses down. So I ended up getting rid of those. And to me, it wasn't money well spent doing that. Money well spent would be getting really nice business cards. Money well spent would be getting nice listing signs to put in front of homes. I've had people call me about that. One of my listings that's going to hit today, I listed a house in Brunswick. This guy called because he needs to sell his house in the same neighborhood. So it's like a call sign for that.
The session 2 kind of homework sheet, I guess, that's up there.
Yeah.
Has all these, it's how to do edge, edge, and then there's another one that's how to do, there are like 4 different things that you have to put all your information into. So just don't do that.
Don't do that.
Okay.
E-Edge is, I believe, going away, correct? E-Edge is going away. So when I started, it was the E-Edge platform is what we used. And it was you put all your people into that database, and like that's how I send out my monthly email. It's still through E-Edge, so I'm still trying to figure out how to use Command. Command is like just a mega platform that will literally do everything for you. You just have to figure out how to use it. So when I got started, I had E-Edge, so all my contacts went to E-Edge, and so like that's where like I would put in like emails, send out to neighborhoods. So like I was just focusing on Topsom. I would click on all the people in my database that lived in Topsom so that only they got the email about Topsom. And then I'd click on all my Brunswick friends and send them just information on Brunswick. So I divided up the towns. When I convert it over to the Command, it doesn't show where anyone lives. So I'm going through it to update it. All 750 people I have in my Command, I have to go through and update everybody. So the beauty of that is, though, and again, this is going to help me win Bold 2.0, is that part of with Bold, you have to do 100 touches a week. So over the 8 weeks of Bold, I already have my 800 people that I'm going to be in contact with. Because I know I just
To
update their information. So that's going to be my plan going through that.
So I wonder about that, because like I brought my kids up in Acton, so I was there for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Wells. Does that work to like have separate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, you mean like separate by towns?
Yeah.
I think so, because again, the people in Acton don't care about Wells.
Right.
The Wells don't care about Acton. But at the same time, what I would do, and I did this, is like everyone gets a monthly email from me, just basic home care, maintenance, rates, stuff like that. And then they get a second email every month that is particular to their town.
And
So
they don't feel bombarded by 2 emails a
Nope.
month.
Where are those coming from? Those emails?
My E-Edge system.
And that's when I do it through Command.
But now you can do it through Command. I still have it going through my E-Edge. It's already set up. I'm working Command to get those towns and everybody's information up to date so that they'll start getting it. So by the time E-Edge goes away, I'll have it figured out with Command so that Command will do everything for me.
What about WolfNet IDX setup?
That is your website. And did you get an email about that?
No, this is on the mission 2 for this class.
Oh, don't worry about that. Scott Leroy Marketing does that for you.
Okay.
We have a company that we hire to do all of that.
I'm so
I do
glad,
have
'cause
an
I was just- I was
answer.
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything I was reading last night to prepare for this class. And this is way
I definitely
over
gone
my,
way off script on this class.
way,
I apologize.
way
I
over my
apologize.
tech. No, I'm so glad you did.
No,
because
I
I
was
was
really helpful, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was really confusing. I mean, just create a contact in the Edge. I mean, I don't have any of the things to put on the Edge thing.
Yeah.
So I was almost not gonna come today because I didn't,
Right.
I thought, okay, I'm just not there yet.
E-Edge is, don't even think about E-Edge. When it says E-Edge,
Think command.
think command.
Okay.
All right, I have an answer from Tom Coward.
Yeah,
I think if you were to just share it without making any comment at all,
yeah,
that's iffy. If you make a comment, call me, anything like that, if you make any comment at all, then you need to call the designated broker of the other.
gotcha. Okay.
And,
So I'm just gonna hit share for now.
Yeah.
My friend's gonna hit share for now.
well, and then if you're sharing somebody else's listing, without asking them to call you, then you're really just pushing them business, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's my friend though. Because if I push, let's say I push Paul Clark's listing, and Paul Clark likes it, Paul Clark's my friend. If I write an offer on Paul Clark's house, and I'm up against Joe Smith, and we have a very similar offer,
He's gonna think of you first.
Paul Clark is gonna love my meeting.
Yeah.
That's, to me, the added value of doing stuff like that. You know, and having good relationships with other real estate agents is huge. Doing your job right is huge because, again, if I see an offer from Karen or I see an offer from Joe Smith who sucks at real estate, and they're very similar offers, I'm going to advise my client, I've worked with Karen, I think Karen is on top of her game, we're not going to have any issues. Joe Smith, like, he never got me his earnest money deposit until like the day before, he never did this. My experience with Karen is much better than with Joe Smith. Again, I don't want to tell you who to pick. I'm just telling you my experience is Karen is a much better agent than Joe Smith, in my opinion. And again, you have to make that final decision. I can't make it for you. I wouldn't say take Karen's because she's awesome. I would say Karen does this great and Joe Smith doesn't do that well. But again, the decision is completely up to you. If they pick Joe Smith, I'm going to, one of those type of things.
But it really can make or break you.
They can. And that's why it's important as newer agents to make sure you're up to date on everything and that you're doing all the right steps. And again, if you don't know, ask. Don't wing it, because if you wing it, you might screw it all up. And the next time you have an offer for that other agent, they're going to be like, this person did very Joe Smith with them. They have no idea. So definitely stay on top of it. Well, now we're going to kind of go through these slides a little bit. Make sure we did our homework. Did everyone get to 10 new contacts since Monday? You did? Yeah. So, good. Were you able to put them into your? Oh no, you don't have access to the Edge yet. To Command yet.
I had it on, I had it transferred to command.
Okay. So have you been able to use your command? Go through it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So
Very
add
basic,
contacts.
very
Yep.
skimming the top.
We're all very basic right now.
Okay.
We're all very basic. Except for Heather.
Yeah. I can do lots of ads. I like the designs.
Yeah. I am definitely not. My opportunity for growth as a real estate agent is doing better at pushing out my listings via emails. So, like in the command, you can set a template that will go out into like Boomtown, like via email. I don't do that currently because I don't know how to. So that's something I'm kind of working on. I'm not a good marketer when it comes to stuff like that. So that's how I'm trying to figure out command at a better level. Like I said, I did it with my E-Edge, and I almost think somebody else set it up for me, so I didn't have to do it. But with command, I'm just like getting my hands dirty with it, and I have messed up so many templates. It's been amazing, but they're getting better though. So that's my opportunity. Did everyone speak with at least 10 people about real estate since Monday? Yes. Any quality leads? Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me. Yes.
Well, it was weird. I talked with two friends, and one of them I pretty much keep in contact with, and one I hadn't for a little bit. And the one that I hadn't talked with for a little bit, she called me back and she was just like, oh, I think it's great you're getting into it, and I'm interested in actually moving. Her husband has just passed, and she would like to sell where she's at. And she's in a trailer park that's in Old Orchard Beach, and I guess the rent for the land, that's how that goes in trailer parks, has been going up increasingly.
Gotcha.
And she's tired of it. So she wants to sell, and she said that there's others around her that are also selling.
Perfect.
And then she'd like to actually like purchase like her own piece of land and put like a double wide on.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, so I was just like flabbergasted because I'm like, okay, what's the next step for that? And so then I called another friend who's got, now this one I keep in contact with. She's a single woman, her husband passed like 10 years ago. And that's the other thing, I gotta be careful what you give out for information because I don't want to give out confidential
Just don't
information.
tell anyone's name.
Just don't do names?
Yeah.
Okay. And she has played with the idea of selling her like unbelievable house for years, and just had something go on that she's kind of decided that she wants to, and she's like, I'd like to be, I think in the Kennebunk area, maybe down to York, maybe Wells, but more so Kennebunk, like, smaller, I want to downsize. I'm just like, oh my word.
Yeah.
And she didn't say, you can be my realtor, because I'd have to prove myself.
Right.
Big time. But I think she's had it on the market before with no bites. And it is inactive, but it's got like beautiful views. It's this gorgeous farmhouse. So she's kind of debating to think about downsizing.
Offer to run her a CMA and then go down and do it.
Where you find their motivation is, okay, you know what, I'd love to do a CMA for you, do a market analysis for you, and I'll bring that down with me. The other thing I would ask, where do you plan on going? You want to be in Kennebunk? What I can do is I can show you what's currently available in Kennebunk in that price point. Because if she's kind of on the fence if she wants to sell or go, but then you show her this gorgeous house that just woos her, she'll be like, put my house on the market right now. Because that's the house I want.
But she's not going to get that house because the time she gets her house on the market, that house is going to be long gone.
It's still a driving force for her change.
It's for the motivation factor.
It is.
Yeah, find her motivation.
Because you don't know how long that house is going to sit on the market. I mean, why would you talk
And
yourself
if you-
negatively out of the
and if-
deal?
I'm not negatively talking myself out of anything. I'm just wondering where I go for the next step. Because
So-
there's two different price points here with two different people.
Right.
But nobody has gone to lending yet.
Right. So that would be the conversation. So the one from Acton, what you said?
Yeah. One of them's Acton and one of them is Old Orchard Beach.
Right. So regardless of which one, be like, okay, so we'll go back to the Old Orchard Beach one then. Okay, so this is what I feel we can get for your home. Where do you want to go? You want to find a piece of land to put a double line. Let's get you in contact with a lender. Because before we sell your home, we need to know where you're going. Whether you're going to rent for a year, or if you just want to move from one home into the next home. So there's several options of that. So to me, it's easier to move into your next home, but at that point, we need to have our financing done. Or if you're okay with the idea of renting for a year, we'll get you out of your house, you rent for a year. In that year, that will give us more time to find a piece of land, to get in contact with a modular company, to get a home there, because the time it takes to find land, get it prepped, road, wells, septic, power, there's a lot of moving parts to that. So in that situation, it might be actually easier to go into an apartment versus trying to go right from one home into another. So, but the first conversation we have to have is with the lender, because again, we don't want to put your house on the market and then we don't know what's going to happen and where it's going to go. So let's find that. Same thing for the woman that, you love this house down here. Well, what we can do is we can get it under contract pending knowing that we have to sell your current home. Do we have to sell your current home to buy the next home? Well, let's go have a conversation with the lender first, because again, we need to know, we need our dominoes to line up properly. Because again, I don't want to go show you a $300,000 house, but you can only afford a $200,000 house. So you do have to have that conversation. But the CMA thing, go down with the CMA like tomorrow, because it's just good learning to put one together. Run it by Joe first, which we did her pay. But bring that down, and explain to her, okay, this is where your house was priced before, this is, why it didn't sell, but this is where I think we should price it if we want to sell it today.
Okay.
And
But what,
then-
you think before she even asked for it, to show up with it? Or like
No,
call her
I
and
would
say,
call
"Hey,
and make
you
an
want me to do
appointment.
it?"
No, I would call and make an appointment. I would call her back and just be like, you know what? I was doing something today with market analysis and doing what's called the CMA, comparative market analysis. I actually ran one on your house, just for practice sake.
Have you been in her house recently?
Oh, yeah, I mean, her house is amazing.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be the tougher one because she knows what she wants for it, and I think that's why it hasn't sold, because she's
Right.
always wants it priced higher than what it is.
Right. Well, that's the motivation factor. So if you want to go to Cape Elizabeth or to Kennebunk Port, here's what's available. So any of you jump off the page, you should go take a look at it. Because for two reasons. First of all, you get to go look at properties. You do get to look at properties, which is a good experience. Second, she might see one that says, holy crap, I need to sell my house like yesterday because I love this house even more. I'll price my house wherever you tell me to price it because I want to be over here. And I did that. I've done that with quite a few people that were kind of on the fence. And again, it's all about hours of showings to be the expert, but go out and look at stuff even if they're not qualified. Now, if somebody called me out of the blue, like some rando, and said, I want to go look at this house on 123 Main Street, I'd be like, are you qualified yet? No. You have to get qualified to show them that house. But if Karen called me and said, Rick, I want to go look at this house, I'd be like, all right, Karen, let's go check it out. Because Karen's my friend, and I know she's going to do me right. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And she's going to say, when she hears somebody else talk about real estate, well, Rick Dow was great. He showed me this house, even though it didn't work out. Call Rick Dow, he'll help you out. So again, I would do that for somebody I know. I wouldn't do that for some random person.
I gotcha.
The other thing I've done before is I've had people who were like, oh yeah, we want to go buy a house. Like, all right, here, let's figure out the lending piece. And a lender would say, this isn't going to work, or go shop. And if they say it doesn't work, what's the plan to make it so it does work? So I had a buyer who met with my preferred lender, and my lender said, you know what, they have to pay off these debts and work on their credit, and they'll be ready in 3 months if they do all these activities. So I intentionally set her up on a search anyway, and every time a house would come up that I thought was a good match for her, I'd be like, hey Lisa, let's go check out that house. It just hit the market, I have some time, let's go take a look at it. And we'd go look at it, and I did it for the purpose that I wanted to keep her motivated. Because if she got discouraged or thought she needed to go buy something on credit rather than work on her credit, we were toast. But if I showed her a house and I said, Lisa, if you continue to do what our lender has told you to do, if this was still available in 2 months, this could be your house. And it would be less than what you pay in rent, or it's the same amount you pay in rent. For a house compared to your crappy little apartment, keep them motivated that way. Now, would I spend 4 hours on a Saturday showing them a house that's not qualified? No. But if it was like a random 1 or 2 here and there to keep the motivation factor up, I definitely would do that. And again, to me, it was the value of looking at real estate. That's how I knew she couldn't buy it right there and then. It was more for me personally to go look at real estate. Same thing, your weekly homework is to go look at 10 homes. How many people have looked at homes already?
Actually,
Like gone and scheduled to go look at a house.
I went to a showing on Sunday with Karen, 2 Sundays ago. And we
Okay.
went 3 different places. It was good.
Yeah. So that's something, my PC coach made me do the same thing. I live in Topsom, so my area is Brunswick, Topsom, Bath, Bowden, Bodenham, Freeport, if I can get Freeport's awesome. Every time something hits the market, I just schedule myself to go look at it. For the sole purpose that if Karen calls me and says, Rick, I want to go look at this house, I'd be like, you know what, Karen, I've looked at that house already. It's great. Or Karen, I've looked at that house. It's a dream. It's not, it's not what we've talked about. You talked about moving condition, nothing to do. This house needs this, and the other thing. I mean, we can still go look at it, but I just want to let you know that's what it is on the inside. So I'm now the expert of my area because I look at all these houses. And I actually will put in, when I request a showing, I'm previewing for an out-of-state buyer, or I'm previewing for a buyer. I'm like, I don't know how, but recently I've had 3 out-of-state buyers find me. to look at houses. So, like in the last 2 weeks, I've probably looked at 20 houses by myself, and it's great. I can go at my own speed. I don't have to, go look at every single minute detail and point out every piece of peeling paint that every buyer points out. Oh, that's $20,000 off. It's peeling paint. That's not how that works. But I can just kind of get through houses pretty quick on my own. But I'll go out and preview houses all day long because I think it's fun. First off, because I like looking at houses and I get to drive around. But it also, again, makes me the effort. Jody, you call me and say, Rick, I want to go look at this house. Well, I've seen it, and this is what I think about it. Jody's gonna be like, damn, he's good. Like he's already out looking at houses. I haven't even asked him about it. Same thing with like me emailing people or texting people when I know they got an email about a house. I said, Jody, check your email. I just saw a house that popped up. Jody, oh my God, Rick, I saw that same email. We should go look at that house. So, Rick, I looked at that house. I think Limerick's too far away from me, in the grand scheme of things. That's the other thing. As a real estate agent, I don't like the idea of selling real estate. I help people find real estate. Because again, I don't want to be a salesman. I told you the story about the girl who's bought and sold 4 times in 4 years. I feel like I suck at real estate because of that. Because I should say let her. I didn't advise her strongly enough not to buy a house because of her boyfriend. And I have one right now who bought a house and had some issues with it. She wasn't sure, and I said, if you want to walk, literally like week of closing, I was like, if you want to walk away, let's walk away. If you're not comfortable with this, again, I don't want you calling me in 6 months and telling me you hate it. She's already called and said she hates it. And again, I tried to advise her that let's walk away. And she didn't. And again, I did as much as I could, but I still feel like a chucklehead for letting her buy this house. I don't like the idea of, I want people to pick what they want. I actually tell people, just so you know, I'm going to go in as like the Debbie Downer of the situation, because I'm going to point out what's wrong with this house. I know you're going to love it because of crown molding and nice backyard, but I'm going to point out the fact that the furnace doesn't look really strong, the roof is about to fall off. You wanted to be 30 minutes to Portland, this is 45 minutes to Portland. Like I kind of point out the negatives a lot when I show people homes. I still point out the nice things though. I like hardwood floors, I like big windows, things like that. The other thing I did early when I started to get into transactions was building inspections. I used to follow my building inspector around like, child, because I wanted to learn on what it would take to fix a home. So that was something else that I did a lot of, and now, I don't have to do it as much. Matter of fact, we just had a class about time blocking. Don't follow your building inspector around. You can use that 2.5 hours for lead generation or whatever. So I try not to follow them around now, but starting out, I always follow them around. Just so I could figure out what he was looking at when he would do a building inspection, so that I could actually nip that part in the bud. Because if I saw something in the next house, I'd be like, well, Norman says that, the building inspector says that over here they have whatever the issue is. That's going to be a problem. And, to fix it, it's going to be X number of dollars, because when Norman pointed out at the last house, I asked him, how much to fix that? It's a $500 project, it's a $5,000 project. I can kind of point those things out now with showings rather than waiting for a building inspection. So that's another one of those learning opportunities. So if I call one of you and say, hey, go on my building inspection for me, pay $100, follow the inspector around too. It's not only going to make $100, you're going to learn from the building inspector. So everybody previewed homes, that's a good thing. We're supposed to be doing calls, that's not going to happen. Handwritten notes. Not a huge fan of I didn't do a lot of handwritten notes. I did it that one time because Tammy made me do it. I don't know if I've done it since. I did it that one time. Some people find it successful though. And what I do is at the end of when we close on a property, I will get them a card and do a handwritten note then. But I don't do handwritten notes out to my database. And in my note to my closing to my client, I'll say, great looking at 100 houses with you, or hope you love your new home, or happy to help you sell your home and get to the next one. if you ever need anything, let me know. You're still stuck with me as your real estate agent. Something like that. And then I follow up the next day with a text or a phone call. You know, how was your first day in your new home? Or, you know, did you all unpacked yet? You know, those type of things. And then about a week later, I'll follow up with another text or a phone call. Just, how was the first week? Anything I should be aware of? Any problems? How is it? How's packing, unpacking, whatever? I had one gentleman who sent me, it was a transaction over the summer. We were looking to buy a lake house, and there was a whole bunch of issues, VA issues, appraisal issues, and just a whole bunch of issues. Well, we got through it all. It was a huge pain in the neck. So eventually we were about 3 weeks late closing on his house, but we did close on his house. Oh, what's this one? Heather. We closed 3 weeks later, and again, it was a huge mess trying to close this house, but we finally got it. And the first night he was there, he's a kayaker. He sent me a picture from his house, from the water, looking back, and he said, it was worth the fight, thank you so much, best real estate agent ever. Something like that. And then the other night, again, this transaction closed in August. The other night he sent me a video of like loons calls like out in front of his house. And he just wrote, worth the fight, thank you so much. Like, I mean, this is a month later. And again, you know, you get into a transaction and you're talking on a daily basis. Like every day, if not every other day, you're talking to somebody. Once a transaction closes, it's like you move on to the next one, but you should, that's still somebody you should stay in touch with. And you stay in touch with these people and you did the job the right way. First of all, they're going to tell all their friends about you, but now you've made a friend for life. So we were talking earlier about being friends on Facebook. If they don't friend request me before a transaction or during a transaction, like I won't go out and look for them and friend them, but after a transaction, I would definitely friend them after a transaction. But during the process of a transaction, I won't friend request them, but if they request me, I will accept it. So, Karen, have you had a similar experience? Like Facebook friends and contacting people?
Yeah, I mean, I Facebook friend them, but
Yeah.
I will, like, even during, because I feel like, well, but you know what, I've probably already been Facebook friends with them. There's only one person that isn't part of my sphere that I would,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and the buyers I have are all sphere, so.
Right. So you're friends with them.
They're already, yeah. And then actually I think I think with you're growing your business through Facebook because you add people, right, to your
All the time.
sphere.
Yeah.
And that, can you explain a little bit more about how you do that? Because that's what I want to do more of too.
So one of the other things I do is I will send out Facebook requests to other people. So like people even from like high school or college, ogres, you know, from my previous life, whatever. You know, my wife and I can go to the same high school, so she's friends with people, and we have a lot of common friends. I'll Facebook friend them if I know them. I won't Facebook, you know, Joe Smith, who I don't know, but if it's somebody who I knew at some point in my life, I will definitely Facebook friend them. And again, they're gonna, you know, because it's a new friend, your feed will pop up on their feed. So that's why I, you know, post, here's me and my kids, here's me and my open house, here's me and my boat, here's my dogs, here's me lake house shopping, whatever. So they know what I'm doing. And the other thing is when I first friend request them, and if they accept it, or when they accept it, I'll actually write them a message, a direct message or private message, whatever it's called. Just say, hey, haven't seen you in a while, hope all is well, love to catch up with you soon. And I've had quite a few that are like, let's grab a coffee, let's go grab a beer, let's, you know, do something. And again, that, to me, that is a $6,000 potential transaction. Again, if they know 3 other people, that's $18,000. You know, however the math works out. But again, always adding more people to that page helps. Because again, it might not even be them that needs help. It might be their cousin who I don't know. You know, and like right now, I think I have, out of the 12 people I'm working with, I think it's like 15 actually. I think probably half are people I directly know. It would be like me helping Karen. The other 7 or 8 are people who I didn't know, but they're one person removed. And I think they have one person, or 3 people who just found me on whatever website. I don't even know. I don't advertise on the website. So through KW found me. So out of state buyers. So it's that type of thing of just, knowing who I should be in touch with. So, and unfortunately, I think our class is just about over because they're here for book club. Any questions before we go? I'm sorry I didn't get through all the slides. Any other questions before we adjourn for the day? Again, if you want to write down my number and write down my phone number is 207-332-3741. That's my phone number. Again, 207-332-3741. If you ever get jammed up on something, call me. If you ever want to talk real estate, call me. If you ever want to grab coffee,